Let's go straight to the Vitality. Alex Crook is there for the Bournemouth game against Leicester this afternoon. But it's got some breaking news, Alex.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. Huge news for the future of AFC Bournemouth. We know they've been in talks with the American businessman Bill Foley for a number of months now about a possible takeover here at the Vitality Stadium. My understanding is the final paperwork on that £120 million takeover has been signed this morning between Bill Foley and the long-term owner Maxim Demin. It's still subject to Premier League approval. That could take anywhere between 4 and 5 weeks to be ratified, but assuming there is nothing untoward, Bill Foley effectively is the new owner this lunchtime of AFC Bournemouth.
So what does that mean for Bournemouth supporters?
I think it means they can look forward to an exciting future. I think a big part of his takeover will involve the infrastructure of the football club. They currently have the smallest ground in the Premier League, just 11,364 seats here at the Vitality Stadium. There are long-term plans either to redevelop on this site or maybe to build a brand new ground nearby. They've already got planning permission work underway on a state-of-the-art training ground. I know that's a big part of Bill Foley's project and his vision. And there will be funds in January as well to spend on reinforcements, almost like a summer transfer window in January, if you like, because of course Maxim Demin wasn't obliged really to dig deep into his pockets in the summer window, knowing that the club was soon to be sold. So I think Bournemouth fans can be really excited about the future.
Is Bill Foley a big Gary O'Neill fan? Yeah. Do we know?
I think time will tell us on that front. What I do know is that in all likelihood Gary O'Neill will be in interim charge until this takeover is completed, probably until the World Cup in Qatar, and by then Bill Foley will have his feet firmly under the table. He can take stock. I know there is a list of possible candidates for the job moving forward, but it's up to Gary O'Neill really, isn't it? They've got a reasonably favourable run of fixtures coming up, including this game against Leicester this afternoon. If he continues to put points on the board, he might just give Bill Foley and the existing board, the Chief Executive Neil Blake, the Sporting Director Richard Hughes, both of whom are part of Foley's project, he might just give them a decision to make.
I don't have a huge amount of faith in the fit and proper persons test in the Premier League, given some of the people that own Premier League clubs here. This isn't saying nothing about Bill Foley. I know very little about this guy. Is he and there have been good American owners and there have been bad American owners. Is he a goodie or a baddie, or I don't know how diplomatic you have to be with that answer.
You're sat in his stadium at the moment.
Yeah, you're sat in his ground now, Alex. Is he a good guy?
I think he's a good guy. I think if you look
at
what he's done, if you look at what he's done in American sport, he's owner of the Las Vegas Golden Knights ice hockey team. I think he's been a good owner for them. He's an ambitious owner. I think he'll want to win games. He's not here just to make up the numbers. He's 77 years of age. I think he's going to want immediate success. But I think crucially what he will do is kick the club on now to the next level in terms of that infrastructure. Max Demin has been a fantastic owner. This is a club who historically are a League One team, really. You look at the stadium, you look at the pulling power. They've got clubs like Southampton on their doorstep, historically a much bigger draw for young talent. I think this will help Bournemouth try and bridge that gap and really establish themselves as a force on the south coast.
And is the ground in that deal? Is he obviously they're held back by their relatively small ground? Are they looking to move? Do you know?
Well, as I say, there's a couple of options there. I think they're long-term options. One is to redevelop the stadium. You could start by filling in the corners. Another is to build a completely new purpose-built ground next door. They own some land. At the moment, it's their training ground. As I said, they're moving to a new state-of-the-art training ground. I think that's more for the long-term. Short-term, invest in the January transfer window and get the work on the training ground complete and make it a place that players want to come and play.
There was a bit of heat on Brendan Rodgers before Monday night's result. Do you think he's expecting to win today as well?
I think Leicester were impressive on Monday night. You have to caveat that and say Nottingham Forest were poor. I still think defensively they have deficiencies. I'm not completely confident in the goalkeeper. I would expect that Bournemouth will maybe try and target him from set pieces this afternoon. Bournemouth haven't scored a goal in front of their own fans since the first day of the season, so I think that's something that Gary O'Neill is going to have to solve pretty quickly. But he has made them more watertight at the back. They kept 2 clean sheets in 4 games. They're unbeaten under O'Neill. That isn't a bad return, considering that when he inherited them, they just lost 9-0 at Liverpool.